So the NBA first team came out yesterday. You had the Joker there. You had Luka there. You had Giannis there. You had Devin Booker there. And who am I missing?
Jayson Tatum?
Jayson Tatum.
It goes by position, right?
Yes.
Every position is filled. So Luka is technically the point guard?
But he is. Devin Booker's a shooting guard.
But listed for the purpose of All-NBA.
He should be listed as a point guard.
Which is why Steph Curry is listed at point guard, so he doesn't make the team.
Well, no, he could have been instead of Devin Booker.
Oh, it's guard.
Guard.
Okay, 2 guards.
Yeah. I mean, this is why it's flawed. It should be the 5 best players. Now, you might say these are the 5 best players, but when you have to have a center in there, you have to have 2 forwards and 2 guards. This doesn't bother me at all. Giannis, Jayson Tatum, that would be the only one, but then you'd say, okay, who are you going to put in there instead of him? Joel Embiid is second team. With Joel Embiid, let's say it's just 5 best players. Giannis, Joker, Luka. You put in Devin Booker. You put in Steph. Ja Morant missed too many games. I'd have Embiid in there probably instead of Jayson Tatum if it was not positional. But this is what I'm trying to get changed with the NBA, and I talked to the commissioner about that. You can't, those days are gone. Like, what position do you play? What position does LeBron play? You got him a forward. He's a point guard. Luka, he's 6'7". He's not a point guard. Yes, he is. Let's see. LeBron went third team. Karl Anthony Towns, Chris Paul, Trae Young. Pascal Siakam of the Raptors sneaks in there. Third team. Second team, DeMar DeRozan, KD, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, and Steph Curry. The reason why it's so important is there's money attached to this, contracts attached to this, bonuses attached to this, supermax contracts attached to this. And the voters are the writers, broadcasters. That's why you got to be really careful with this. It should be the 5 best players on each team. And I know I always single out Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert is not one of the 15 best players in the NBA. But he's making first team or second team or third team All-NBA. Yes, Heaton.
But is what you're saying sort of based on history and not the season itself?
Meaning
like who are you taking off the first team that didn't deserve it?
I would take Jayson Tatum off and I'd put Joel Embiid. But Joel Embiid is a center, so he's second team.
That makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
It does make sense. I feel like Joel Embiid had the best season of his career.
He did.
And he's not being rewarded for it because of his position. He's redundant.
But I don't know if anybody's contract, Supermax contract, is attached to this year's voting. But we've seen this before. I think Jayson Tatum may have lost out on a Supermax because he wasn't, second team or third team. Yeah, Paulie.
Now, Steph Curry last year, by necessity, because of injury, he had to shoot a lot more for Golden State. So last season, he averaged 32 points a game, first team All-NBA. This year, for him, he had an off year. For him, 25 and a half a game. So they didn't put him first team, and Jayson Tatum makes it because Tatum has his career. Is that fair because you're grading this season as a standalone?
Well, you should.
Yeah.
I mean, Jayson Tatum's a wonderful player, but he didn't have a better year than Joel Embiid. And he didn't have a better year than the Joker. He didn't have a better year than Luka. Now, you can say, did he have a better year than Devin Booker? Well, they want to reward Devin Booker because the Phoenix Suns had the best record in basketball. Like, it's tricky when you vote on these. And I got an opportunity. It was an honor to vote on it. Whether it was Rookie of the Year, the MVP, Most Improved, Sixth Man, first team, second team, third team All-NBA. But we have to move on from this because that's just not the way basketball is played anymore. When I was growing up, you had a shooting guard and a point guard. You had a small forward, you had a power forward, and then you had a big man. That's not the case anymore. Like Anthony Davis doesn't want to be a center. And I think in part because if you're a forward, I got 2 chances to make All-NBA as opposed to 1 as a center. Yeah, Paulie.
Also, Devin Booker's pretty consistent, but he gets the tap this year. The past 4 years, he's averaged 26 and a half points a game. Exactly, almost. Right down the line. This year was not different. His other stats like assists went down a little bit. But his shooting stats are exactly the same.
Yeah, but is he a great player? Like, truly great player?
He's the face of a really good team.
No, Chris Paul is.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Yeah.
And he's a wonderful shooter. There are a lot of great shooters. I just don't know if we look at him. And this is a guy who scored 70 points in a game. I just don't know if we look at him as well-rounded, an all-around great game. Luka has that. Embiid, Joker has that. Those players, it feels like they're different a little to me than Devin Booker. Yeah, Mark.
Do you think they gave him the first team nod basically kind of based off of what he did last year, like making that long run to the finals and being a big part of it?
Maybe.
Because before he was just a great player on, bad teams.
But they don't give you any instructions. When you vote on whatever your interpretation is of most valuable, most improved, first team, second team, third team. But there's no instructions. It's like the Heisman. What is your definition of the Heisman? And I appreciated that. I didn't want them to say, hey, you have to vote this way. I would just caution the NBA and say, maybe it's time to change the format here. Give me the 5 best players in basketball. And I know that's not the way we used to do it, but then basketball and the labels are different now than the way they used to be. Because you would have guys who didn't start because, you got your point guard or you got your shooting guard. I mean, Steph Curry's a shooting guard. He's not a point guard. Draymond's the point forward. It's like Scottie Pippen was the point forward, in my opinion, for the Chicago Bulls. Yes, Eden.
Is it fair that contracts are all tied to this, though?
They shouldn't be.
But then how do you do it then?
Well, that's subjective. And then you have broadcasters who may like somebody or not like somebody, and then you vote them or you don't vote them. And you have millions of dollars attached to this. I would prefer they didn't have those kind of incentives because it's subjective. And that to me, when it gets really tricky. If you said, who's the most valuable player on the Phoenix Suns? You're probably going to get an argument, but most people would say Chris Paul. He's not the best player, but value. Yes, Eden.
Would you rather see the NBA keep its current slotted sort of contract structure or go more towards what the NFL has, where it's just it's not necessarily tied to all of these?
I would prefer it's not, because I just know that you want to be fair to this player. How many games do you see? Have you talked to anybody about that player? Like, how much research do people do? And I hope they do a lot. When I left ESPN, they took away my voting rights. But I still follow it. It's fun. And it was an honor to be part of that. But I just don't – I think basketball is positionless now.